It is Sunday, October 10th, 2027, and the Chicago White Sox are 97 and 65 and have made the playoffs for, I believe, the fifth consecutive year. All in this sim, we have made the playoffs every single season, but this team, I think, is the best. Projected to win 100 games by the Pythagorean method. Better than the 98 that the team in 2024 was projected to win. And it's just so complete. I mean, you can look at these. We just down the stretch of the year, we should have been even better. We were so sluggish in the first 2 months of the year, but I would take a slow start rather than a slow finish. First in home runs, first in runs allowed. We had the best pitching staff in baseball, best defense in baseball, and one of the best offenses in the American League. But I think at the top, our offense was stellar. Take a look at Oscar Colas. He slowed down to the end of the year. Wasn't on the same pace that he was when we checked in. He had a really bad month of August, but everything else, I mean, MVP caliber, except for August. Unfortunate that he slipped up there because I think the MVP award, he'll get votes for it. Same thing like I said with Andrew Vaughn when he won it. He'll get votes for it, but I'm unsure if he will win it, given like Wander was so much better than him at shortstop. Luis Robert, the best year we've seen from him, and possibly the best year of his career. Yeah, best year of his career for Robert. Plays 153 games at age 29. Of course, it has to come in a contract season. We don't want to bring him back. I do love him, but the center field ratings have come down. He wants this big deal. He's 30. He's fragile. I'll give him the qualifying offer in free agency, but it's just, it's a money play. We won't offer him a contract. Carlos Correa got even better down the stretch of the year. Hit like an all-star, which he is. He should be. Very happy about his performance. 11.5 zone rating in the best spot on the field to get production from. Shortstop, the easiest and out of the park with good defense and good hitting. So I'm very happy about him. A 5 WAR season. So we have 3 guys with 5 WAR. Carlos Pena ends with 2.9, 123 WRC plus. Struggled these first 2 months, but picked it up towards the end of the year, including an 11 home run month of August. He finishes with 33 bombs. Colas is 38. Maui Ahuna, 2.7 WAR, great production at second base from him. Slow end of the year in September, but only 25. A lot of room to grow. Yordis Valdez was giving him a serious run for the everyday job with his month of September. 149 OPS plus, 8 homers, 15 homers in the last 2 months of the year for Valdez. Finishes as a starter level player in only 115 games. So happy about that. Ronald Hernandez was on a tear in August and September. Cooled off towards the end of the year. Finishes with 1.6 WAR. Solid year from him, especially of 4 framing runs. Alex Bregman competed like an all-star in the last 3 months of the season, or last 2 months of full plate appearances for him. 147 OPS plus in September. He was a negative player up until the last month of the season. Finishes as an average hitter and does okay with the glove at third. Maybe not worth the... I guess it's worth the $13 million we're paying him. He might opt out after the year. I hope not. I think he's got a good spot for us with Ryan McMahon probably being done. He finishes his run with the White Sox with a lackluster performance in about half the playing time his final year here. He's on the playoff roster, so we'll see if he can make some memories and finally do what he has been unable to do in a White Sox uniform, which is win the World Series. I'm rooting for him. He's one of my favorite players in this sim. Jimmy Crooks, an average hitter, below average defensive catcher. That's good for just kind of an average player in part-time duty for him. He only plays 58 games, gets 0.9 WAR. Cole Carrig, kind of a fan favorite, 74 games played, only 18 starts. Hits well enough. He can play all over defensively. Again, not well, but okay. He just kind of would come in as a defensive substitution or take the last plate appearance. And he was good in part-time duty. Esteban Gonzalez got some good run towards the end of the year, but this BABIP at 200 just needed to come up, and he would have had a much better year. He still finishes with a 200 average, .313 OBP, .418 slug. He's an average hitter. Played good in left field in AAA, not so much in the bigs, but I hope for big things for him next season. Mac Horvath also improved towards the end of the year. League average hitter. Good in August, fine in September. Wanted to keep him around as a captain. He'll be in the playoff roster too. Pitching staff. Sandy Alcantara doesn't do well down the stretch. He kind of had a run-in with the wall last year as well. Does well in September, but not in July and August. He's a free agent after the year. I think I might give him the qualifying offer just because he's been so reliable for us, but I don't know. Logan Webb really turned it on down the stretch. 2.70 ERA in August, 3.38 in September. Leads the league in ground out percentage as well as wins. Logan Webb with a great season for us. Alex Lang should not be a starter. Once again, I don't know why our manager loves to do this. I don't want him in the starting rotation. He's a great reliever. 50 saves, leads the American League for Alex Lang. Jesus Luzardo has another great year, or not another, his first great year with us. We have him under contract for next season, and I'm happy about the production we got from him. Had a rough month of August, but rebounded in September. Kind of up and down throughout the year, but eventually it turns out to be an all-star level pitcher in the rotation. Andrew Haney had a, I believe, 4-week forearm inflammation injury. Was out of the rotation for us, but pitched okay down the few games he did. Jonathan Stever, really good year once again as a starter. I'm going to have to put him in the playoff rotation because a 3.10 ERA and 136 and 2/3 innings is too good to leave him out. Sam Hentges finishes the season with an ERA under 1. Will probably win reliever of the year. A resplendent season for Hentges after really struggling last year in 33 innings with us. Comes back and is wonderful. He's a free agent as well. Andrew Abbott, 3.19 ERA and 73 and a third innings pitched. Very happy about that. Christian Mania, he struggled with his ERA, but his FIP was good. Alberto Mota, just okay, really, in his 74 innings out of the pen. Luke Jackson wants a contract extension, and he kind of deserves it. A 2.24 ERA and 60 and a third. 2 back-to-back great seasons for him with us and with Boston after kind of struggling over the past few seasons. Before that, Thomas White finishes an okay rookie debut, just enough to get out to get over those rookie limits, so he won't be eligible for Rookie of the Year next year at 23. But we have some young pitching prospects that are going to come up and complement him in the rotation. Jose Soriano's up just for being a righty, and he was an all-star before with us. Again, you can see 5 innings as a starter down in AAA, 7 walks. He's had an issue with the control this season, but I'm okay with it. He's a proven guy over the past 2 seasons, and he's just kind of struggled to get his footing this year. So that'll do it for the playoff roster. We do have Conrad. I forgot to cover him in the last video, but he was pitching okay for us. He was out for a couple weeks, had a setback, didn't come back to the team until August after being missing since the beginning of June. We could check his stats. Pitched okay in September. Not great in August after he came up. Actually, September. So he missed all of June, really. Came back in September and was spectacular. Tears his flexor tendon. He's out for the entirety of next season. Very unfortunate break for Bonert, who's the number 24 prospect in baseball. I assume that when he comes back, he will kind of be a shell of what he was. And that's unfortunate because he had a great rookie year, 2.2 WAR in 92 and 2/3 innings pitched. And I could have traded him at certain points for like some of the best players in baseball. Bonert was always the first guy besides Pena that they asked for. So I'm pretty upset about that, losing him for as long as we'll lose him. But down in the minors, we've experienced some improvement. Alpha Mosey is doing well. Parker Brocious. The Charlotte Knights just won the AAA championship, the International League Championship. Kyle Morrison, it's 19 homers. He's kind of fallen off. Jacob Walsh, I just got to find a spot for him. Chris Malden, I thought about calling up at some point in the year, but he was just struggling so much FIP-wise, but he'll be up next season. He's angry that he's not in the majors. Jared Kelly, I bought back after trading him I traded him for Sam Hentges. He's a captain as a starter, so I bought him out from an international league that had him, and he's back with us. John Lash, who we picked in the 5th round in 2025, is now up in Double-A. He didn't pitch there at all this year, but he had a good year in High A. He's going to be there as a 21-year-old. Riley Jackson is up there as well. And then throughout the minors, Henry Allen was a draft pick in the 7th round. I think we're getting some ratings inflation, but he hit really well in A-ball in a few at-bats for us. Owen Pano was our first-round supplemental pick. Hit very well in the draft league. And he's kind of the same mold as Maui Ahuna, but not as good of a fielder, but a better bat if this power comes along. It's just he'd be a second baseman or maybe even a first baseman once he comes up. And we've got a ton of decent prospects. Jeff Calderon spent some time here in A-ball. Really unlucky with the ERA 9.88. Wow. Unfortunate for him. Jonathan Peralta was our first-round pick, 23rd overall. He's now the 25th prospect in baseball. In 45 2/3 innings, he is average, really. But this skill set is very good. And we've finally got some young pitching prospects. Even though I began this sim saying that there's no such thing, we've needed them. It's, kind of shown in our acquisitions, taking guys for a year or two, and filling out our pitching staff that way. And it's not like it's hurt us. We're doing pretty well. But now we have the 7th system in baseball, along with Frank Ramirez, who we signed in international, the free agency signing. I did trade Stanton Luthner for Fernando Romero, along with Tyree Reed, who is a decent lefty outfield prospect. And Luthner's 26. He needs to be on the 40-man next year. But I don't even know if this skill set's going to come along. He hit well for us in Charlotte, though. So, just kind of a dart throw to prospects. We signed Daniel Moctezuma, who was cut by the Tigers. He's the number 71 prospect in baseball, but I assume that he just hasn't really come along at all. But he hit very well for us in our rookie system. Jared McDaniel's another guy, lit up the draft league. So the prospects are coming along for us throughout the minor leagues, and we're going to need them coming into the offseason here, possibly losing Alcantara, Robert, Bregman, McMahon, Lang. Haney, I forgot we traded for him. We traded... who did we trade for him? Oh, yeah, I accidentally ran out of time on the trade deadline. It was still July 31st, but I just added him to the team, and I gave them the Cardinals the prospect that they were looking for, which was like a minor league, nobody pitcher. So that'll do it for this episode, or at least covering what we have to do. Cleveland Guardians are who we were going to face in the playoffs, but I will talk about them in a separate video where I'm going to, I think, play a couple games because we finally have an opportunity, I think, to win the World Series. We look at the rest of the league. Logan Webb leads in wins, Lang in saves. We finished with the second best record in baseball. The Orioles are still in the playoffs, and they're who we need to beat. They play the Rays in the other branch of the divisional series. They're hoping to win the World Series too. They've lost the last 3, so potential juggernaut matchup upcoming. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's see what happens in this Cleveland series. I got the playoff roster set. We win the first game. What about the second? I'm just going to get through this because I think I'm going to play this whole Orioles series for you all just because they are, they've been our they stop us every time we play them. So we beat Cleveland 7-1. Logan Webb, good game from him, 7 1/3 scoreless. And Cleveland is okay. I think they're better than Minnesota, who struggled down the stretch. If we look at them, if you remember, they were leading the division, but then are like a sub-500 ball club down the stretch, which is what I predicted them to be. Cleveland is a bit better. They have Wilfredo Antunes, who is a bona fide power hitter. He has been for a few years now in the bigs, already up to 131 career home runs before he's even 25. Adam Macko is a good pitcher for them. Bieber is back after a rough season last year. But they're kind of a middling playoff team, 85 wins. You'd expect that. And Jose Ramirez kind of has a down year. We beat them 8-0, so we're kind of killing them. There you go, Sandy. Complete game. And this is what he did in the playoffs last year for us. This is why I'm very happy about having Sandy Alcantara, even if he does struggle at some points. He is just an innings eater. Just got to win one more of these games, and we're on to the next series. I really hope we're playing Baltimore. I want to beat them. I don't want to play Tampa. Let's see what happens. Come on. Game's been slow recently. 3-6 loss. 6-7 loss. I don't like that. All right, well, here it is for all the marbles. Playing Cleveland. Let's check these 2 losses. Luzardo, an error really screws us up there. Great. Who did it? Maui Ahuna. Wonderful. I don't care. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. If not, then we got to do some serious soul searching in the offseason. Okay, we beat Cleveland 4-0, and it's on to Baltimore. So I'll be back for the next series. We're going to just play this series out. I don't care about the division series. This is the second time we've reached the ALCS. 2 years ago, we did it the last time, went to 7 with the Orioles. This year, I want to beat them. I want to beat the shit out of them and go to the World Series. I hate the Orioles so much. They have halted our progress. They've killed us. I don't want to deal with them anymore. So, there we go. How'd they dispatch Tampa? They swept Tampa. Okay. So, they're ready. We're ready. They're the Orioles, man. We're better than them this year, though. They had a crappy pitching staff. They did have the best offense in the American League. Anthony Rodriguez, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Jackson Holiday. Anthony Rodriguez we covered before, got some TCR. He's kind of a nothing prospect for the Mariners right now in real life. They have Henry Davis, who they've had for a while as their backup catcher, but he hasn't been good. I don't even know why they extended him. Mark Canha is playing center field. Don't know why. I think this team is ripe to be beaten. They trade for Casey Mize at the deadline. Felix Bautista. They're the Orioles. We've played them enough times. Braves, Padres on the other side of it if we win. When we win. Pitching staff is on fire in these playoffs. The bats, not so much. But actually, who won MVP this series? Robert. Okay. Yeah, he hit well. So that'll do it. I'll be back for first couple games against Baltimore.